Okay, guys, so I'm gonna be interviewing Chef Prime here. I got a couple questions. So the first one is, what inspired you to get into film entrepreneurship?
Um, the main thing that inspired me to get into film entrepreneurship is the fact that I didn't want to lose or change things up from what I've already been training myself to be, which is hospitality. So after I came off of the restaurant slash product run, I felt as though as a natural progression of business and personally as well, I just switch gears into to film so I don't completely lose myself into getting or transitioning into something else.
Can you describe a typical day in the life of a film entrepreneur?
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, a lot of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes is really planning, creating, these, different shows, no matter the size, or more in my case, different type of shows specifically targeted towards my YouTube audience. So I'm stuck really in the planning phases. So what is the show direction? What is a good title? Let's think about some thumbnail, ideas, and then from A to Z, essentially, what is going to happen throughout the entire show. So and then once that happens, then I set it aside for about 2 3 days, and then I go back to it with a fresh pair of eyes, to see if I'm getting that real feeling that I had when I first said, okay, this might be a dope showpiece that I think my viewers could really vibe out to and watch. So mostly it's just planning, and the execution part is depending on the size of the show. I may contact my team to do certain things to it, to edit it, if depending on the level of that production. But mostly, my job as a culinary producer is creative. So I'm creating the shows, thinking out the whole thought processes of what I feel or believe is a dope show to watch on YouTube.
What are the biggest challenges you face in the film industry?
The biggest challenges was probably in my first year, meaning, I was really out there putting together a team and trying to make people see the vision that I have for Next Chef Network. That wasn't as difficult, but to really put yourself out there in that space incredibly early, took high risk, because a lot of these professionals, they're go, 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 go all the time, and you want to be respective of that. So, you know, I had to sell myself and then sell Next Chef Network and our direction for that. And luckily, I was able to put together a complete film casting team that could take my visions from paper and all this other stuff and actually create it to be something real.
What is your YouTube target audience?
What I've noticed, especially from my YouTube, back end channel, is pretty much I'm getting a lot more men watching. Close second, women. Very close second. It's not truly neck and neck, but it's very close. But I would say from like the ages of from what I've seen is, I believe it's like 14 to 40 is that comparable range. And then of course you got the other numbers kind of like scattered, hit, here or there, hit or miss. But 14 to 40 typically watch all of the stuff that, I put out and also subscribe.
How often do you upload new content to your channel?
To stay within the realms of the algorithm, when I first started, I did 2 days a week. So I did Wednesday and I did Saturday religiously, without fail for a few months. And then, the algorithm took over and really pushed out my content, because I was able to show consistency and interesting topics. It pushed all of my content out to more viewers, and those viewers eventually subscribed to the channel. And then every time I dropped something, it wash and repeat. Now I'm at a point where I'm still adhering to the Wednesday and Saturday, but in between those days, I'm throwing in like a short randomly. I'm throwing in like other pieces of content from, just like randomly. So I want to say it's, to tell you the least, Wednesday and Saturday, all the way up to almost every day, I'm throwing something out there. So,
can you describe your unique selling proposition?
Unique selling proposition. So that would be, the fact of, I have a hospitality production business. We're really, really focused on that. And whereas everybody else in my space tend to be the generalists, so they you got people that start a production company, but it is these are the people that would take on any project. Me, every project has to do with hospitality. So that's our unique proposition, is our dedicated focus to a very specific industry.
How do you conduct market research for your hospitality production company?
Woo! Well, that is very simple. So, as a prior chef, as a practitioner for 12 years, I still make it my point to, how they say, keep a pulse on the market. Looking at industry trends, I'm on, my Instagram page, and I'm seeing what chefs are doing. I'm on LinkedIn. And I'm seeing what the industry is doing, where it's heading, what's happening. And then obviously I go out into to these different markets throughout the DMV and go to these different events or whatever the case is. And then I just lay eyes and I see what's really going on. So a lot of the research that is done to make sure that I'm staying on top of everything that's going on is really a collective of social media and me physically going out there and into these different markets and checking things out.
How do you secure funding for your film projects?
Well, everything is self-funded. And I prefer it to be that way, because less pressure when you involve investors, then that means your feet is held to the fire to perform and bring back great numbers. But like myself, I made it a purpose to not really seek investors, because this is a project that I could financially handle on a project by project basis. So everything that I do is really self-funded. And I like to keep it that way until we get ourselves in a position where we're looking at that next step. And whatever that may mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But, everything is out of my pocket, of course.
how did you determine your sponsorship pricing strategy?
How did I what?
How did you determine your sponsorship pricing strategy?
I really pulled that one out of my butt. You know, I'm a strong believer in knowing your value as an entrepreneur. You know, you got to know your value, and your prices or your rates is never far off. Is never, you should never look at it as, oh, this is a crazy cost nobody is going to pay for it, right? So when I did my prices for sponsorships, you know, I looked at things like, okay, this is my engagement, this is my current subscribers level. So if I do a video, I already know you're going to typically get possibly over 10,000 views just on a video off the hip. You know, so I'm looking at my subscribers, my, you know, analytics across the board, and I say, okay, based on this hard set of numbers, you know, I'm currently worth this. So when I first started, and I think I cracked, geez, man, what was it? I think I was roughly around 30,000 subscribers, I believe. At that time, my rates was low. I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to start to put together, you know, one of these kind of sponsorship packages that I could get additional money or additional potential revenue sources outside of my assets, and obviously other things. So I kind of set the bar in a safe zone. And when my subscriber levels and engagements and all this stuff was going up and up and up on a daily basis, and now I'm over 55, the last time I checked, 55,000 subscribers, man, look, I increased my prices. I'm like, I can't fool myself, you know? So my thing is this: not everybody is your customer. You set your price, you live to it. That's your standard. You always go up, but you never reduce your prices. And if somebody have a problem with your prices, then they are clearly not your customer. So don't go back and forth with these type of people. Pass them up to somebody else, and then you go out there and you look for people that's your actual customers. And that's how I live.
What are your main strategies for managing cash flow?
So when we got monetized as a channel on YouTube, my whole thing was, you know, it was more of like a three-way split, right? So, you know, I get 25% that I pocket and spend, 50% goes right back into the company. So to make more videos, better productions, better this and that. And, you know, to my co-producer, get 25% as well off top. So that's the breakdown. And then obviously that dynamics is going to change the bigger the company gets and the more revenue the company brings in.
What role does networking play in your business?
Networking is the foundation, especially in the film and or media business. It is the cornerstone of your business. So in order to reach these different levels, and even like on a YouTube basis, you cannot do all of this stuff by yourself. No matter how big or small your team is, you're going to need a team, because it's very difficult to scale. It's almost impossible to scale when you're doing all of this by yourself. You can't be a chief everything officer in the media space, because you're simply going to drive yourself crazy. It takes too long to come up with a workable concept for your film project. It takes too long to properly edit, you know what I mean? So you want to have people that you can pass portions of your projects to. And you can't do that if you never network. If people don't know who you are, what you do, and what you stand for, then you're simply going to be one of these entrepreneurs that may have good ideas, but you're really going to be stressed out. You're really going to lose a lot of sleep, and your projects that should be taken, a few hours or a day comfortably to put together is going to take 3 days. It's going to take a week, and then you're just going to lose yourself, and then you're going to bow out, out of YouTube or any kind of filming or whatever you're doing. You're just going to bow out. You're going to be overstressed.
How do you balance creativity with the business aspects of film production?
It's a dance. You gotta make sure that you're honestly business first and then creative second. Because if you're half and half, or if you're creative first and business second, you're always going to run over budget. Very quickly, your ideas is going to be your actual demise. So what I mean by business first is you got to know your numbers. So if you put together a production for YouTube or whatever, if you're even shooting a film or documentary, whatever the case is, you got to organize your initial concept into different stages, and then you got to find out, well, if I'm shooting a film out here in the streets, how much is how much does it cost to shut down the street? How much does it cost to rent out that particular space or set that you're renting? How much does it cost if you're bringing on extra bodies? And look, if they are part of the Screen Actors Guild or the Screenwriters Association, like any of those top agencies, you better have your budget in check. Even if you're doing something on a YouTube basis, all of this stuff costs. How much is it going to cost to have your editors to do their job? The people that's holding the camera to do their job, the lighting people, even still renting out the space if you don't have one of yourself. You got to be cognizant of all of the cost from start to finish at the micro level. And once you get that locked in, and that's all part of the business, you get those stuff locked in, the cost, and then you will look at possible projections for profit, and that kind of tip the scale, and then you get into the creative stuff. Well, based on all of these type of metrics, creatively, this is what I can afford to do right now. So business always have to be at the top, and then creative.
What advice would you give someone starting out in film entrepreneurship?
Push the boundaries. Push the boundaries. Don't be limited to an idea or to a concept. Look at how you could get into this business and really push it forward. Don't take that same direction as Hollywood, because we all know that it's over for them. You really got to come up with some very creative concepts that without a shadow of a doubt, this is what people are asking for. This is what people want to watch. If you're on YouTube, look at your competitors, I would say. Look at your competitors' videos. Go into their comment sections. And if you see that simply there's some questions related to that particular piece of content, and it's perfectly in line with what you want to do as far as a creative, then that is your answer. Create videos that will be able to answer those questions. And just never lose hope. Don't, obviously, you're in a business, we're all in a business to make money, but don't lose the concept of having fun first. You got to fall in love with the industry, with the processes, with the crew, with your ability to create. Fall in love with that first. And then naturally, by way of your packaged product, that's when the money hits.
What methods are you using to monetize your channel?
So we already got AdSense, Google AdSense running. I have, oh, actually, I got 4 now because earlier today I had a meeting with this, this other company. I'm not going to disclose it just yet. And so we're running 4 now affiliate programs. So, Google AdSense affiliate programs. We're also very soon going to kick into high gear the sponsorship program that I've rolled out with. So as we gear up towards much more better packaged, content, sponsorships is going to be the thing too. So that's the top things for me as far as YouTube is concerned. And if there's any other things like partnership deals with other YouTubers in the hospitality space, I would love to shoulder to shoulder with them. And then possibly other opportunities to really expand on the brand.
What are your plans for scaling your business?
Really getting the business out in front of a lot more people by going to a lot of these events, local events, whatever the case is, within the DC, Virginia, Maryland area, and then the neighboring New Jersey and stuff like that. So if y'all noticed, some videos ago, I've actually purchased a customized tent set with the custom table throw and everything. So I'm just gonna get like a whole bunch of flyers professionally created. I'm gonna have some other products. I already got apparel, for a very soft line and whatnot, but it's something else to throw on the table. But I'm gonna have all of these different products, the flyers. We're gonna go out, blaze the trail at a lot of these food events. So don't be surprised if you see a Next Chef Network tent posted up at one of your local food events, festivals, fairs, whatever, right? So that's going to be like the biggest draw is I'm killing it on YouTube, but now let me bring it back and kill it in my markets personally.
How do you stay updated with culinary trends and innovations?
How do I stay up with culinary trends and innovations is again, just keeping my post in the market, and I'm just talking to a lot of different people. I'm looking at LinkedIn a lot for the scalable stuff that's happening globally. And then I'm just really tying it all in together, and I'm just packaging it as a story.
How do you handle customer feedback and reviews?
Sometimes, if I get a chance, sometimes I will respond to my customers. As far as the reviews, it's always going to be a hit or miss. You're not going to create videos or content back to back and have everybody love everything that you create. So it's that realistic expectation. I know, hey, the content I'm putting out right now is only resonating with some people, not all. So I'm not, from a business standpoint, I'm not really focused on that per se of the comments to a certain point, because there's some people out there that is struggling, that is incredibly negative, and they are like pirates. They go on YouTube, they look at people, the views, all that good stuff, other people comments, then they want to interject their negative comment to try to tear you down. So it's a fine balance. Now, when people have something constructive to say, like, hey chef, next time in your next video, you should fix your lighting like this. Hey chef, next time you should talk about your food product or whatever you're doing like this. Hey, don't forget to point this thing out. Then something like that as a constructive criticism, I really take in. I'm like, I bet I did miss that. Oh man, you got me. But next video, I'm not going to miss it. So that's how I weigh mine. Me, that's how I do it. Everybody else got their own vice and what they listen to and how it affects them. So,
how do you optimize your video titles, descriptions, and tags for searchability?
How do I what?
How do you optimize your video titles, descriptions, and tags for searchability?
Oh, like SEO. There's other features on YouTube, and I'm not even gonna be real technical, but there's other features on YouTube. There's also features on Google where you could be able to look at trending titles, where you could actually be able to create like the perfect all around video, the titles, of course. And it gives you some ideas. There's these other things where you could look at that will give you ideas on your thumbnails, that is actually, known thumbnails that people, respond to, that will all increase your click-through rates. That's the kind of stuff that I look at on the back end. It's one of those things, honestly, like if you know, I will let you, the viewer, take it upon yourself to do the due diligence to look up what I'm talking about. But everything as far as YouTube that you want to advance your channel is on YouTube.
Are you using custom thumbnails, and if so, how do they contribute to your click-through rate?
Usually the thumbnails, some of them are custom, but most of them is something that I create. I take that on myself. Creating a thumbnail is not a laborious thing. I mean, of course, there is a preferred science to thumbnails. If you look at Mr. Beast's videos or any other YouTuber that has a channel that's, over 1 million subscribers, they'll tell you it's a way that you want to structure it. And I'm listening to them. But for right now, up to this point, I have been doing all of my thumbnails, all of my titles, descriptions, everything. I've been on the back of that. But I will 100% when I get to that point. I will definitely pass that on. I do have a couple of thumbnail designers that I could contact easily and here's the video, here's this and this and this. Create a thumbnail for it. I will definitely get to that point. Yeah.
What challenges have you faced in growing your channel, and how have you addressed them?
You know what? The challenges I faced was mostly trying to understand the algorithm. That was the biggest challenge. So it's one thing to create a video, but you want a video to move. So what does that look like? And I've noticed, as a great example, if I do a video myself, it doesn't get as much views because I am obviously not a celebrity. But if I do a video on a well-known business, restaurant, or whatever, or a person, if I do a video that highlights a very well-known or highly searched city or whatever that landscape may look like, then those are the videos that gets me tens of thousands of views. So, and there's other small things that, I really look at when I'm weighing in, one video to the next. And it's just, being able to research and educate yourself on what works for your specific niche and your specific channel. It's figuring the game out.
How do you engage with your audience through comments and community posts?
I gauge my audience by, just making sure that I put out dope content. If they do comment, again, I watch what are they saying. Is it something that warrants my time? And answering. And I've done that a few times with a lot of people on some of my videos. And I keep it simple. Most of the time I don't have the time to really go in depth as far as my commenting on people's posts to my videos, because I'm so focused on the next video. As soon as one of my videos get uploaded, I'm already thinking like the next 3 videos ahead.
What has been the most rewarding aspect of running your production business?
Wow. All right, the most rewarding. For me, the most rewarding thing about having a hospitality production company is really providing hospitality entrepreneurs with a clear space and giving them a chance to tell their story. Because again, let's keep it real. The Cooking Channel, Food Network, all these other multi-billion-dollar channels, it's only like you have virtually no chance. None. You gotta be a celebrity in your market, and then that will only put you at a 50% chance of getting picked up by one of these shows. And they have a weed out process. So for me, I am more open to telling the stories of all of the food service entrepreneurs out there. Look, I don't care if you own a restaurant, you own a food product or beverage, you own a food truck, a food cart, if you're somebody that assists hospitality businesses. Look, everybody got a story, and with Next Chef Network, you have your shop. And all you got to do is just go to nextchefnetwork.com, read through the website, and whenever you're ready, follow what the website is telling you.
What strategies do you use to promote your videos on other social media platforms?
So I've since deleted my business Instagram page to include my personal one, because I listened to Mr. Beast by just having YouTube as their primary focus. Now, what I do use to promote and interact with my audience is YouTube. And also what I do use, and I just recently set this up, I got my podcast, Here We Chef Again podcast, that is also doing incredibly well on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. But I've just recently got it aligned with Spotify. So now you could go to Spotify and go, in a search piece, put in Here We Chef Again podcast, or Here We Chef Again, and then you'll see my podcast. And I've already preloaded 6 videos or podcasts. So that's how I'm going to also connect with more people, is through my Spotify channel as well, as I rev that up.
How do you encourage viewers to subscribe to your channel?
I really don't sell that. Look, you either like my stuff, you either want to grow with me in my business or not. You know, again, it's a hit or miss. If I'm not the one that you want to watch, then watch somebody else. There's millions of people that have great channels. I don't want my viewers to feel like, you know, I'm selling them something or I'm shoving, hey, subscribe to my channel. Like, just watch the content. If you vibe out with it, then you should naturally subscribe. It's free. It costs you honestly nothing. It's free. So that's how I feel about that whole subscribe thing. And so far it works, because I'm again up like 55,000 subscribers in 6 months.
Do you analyze your channel's analytics regularly, and what key metrics do you focus on?
YouTube analytics, I do follow it. It's part of the business. But right now, I'm in that stage where I'm really focused on different ways of perfecting my videos, my content. Now, as we head towards, bigger checks and whatnot, then yeah, I'm gonna have to naturally focus on those different drivers. RPMs, click-through rates, views, the time that is most importantly though, it shows the time frames that your viewers are on or watching rather your content, and the time frames where that attention stops and then it drops, then it may bounce back up again. So those is one of those bigger it's one of the bigger indicators that I kind of pay attention to as well. But I'm just like, yo, let me just get these creative juices off.
Okay, well, that's all the questions I have for you. Thank you for watching this. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment whichever part you liked, and we'll see you in the next video.